Decimals are really easy because they are just another way to write fractions because they both talk about amounts that are less than one whole. So here you can see that we have a 0 in the ones place, and we're going to write a number in place values that are going to be less than 1. Just like a fraction is talking about one whole being split into pieces, decimals are the exact same thing. So decimals have place values that sound just like the fractions that have a denominator 10. So you would say this place value tenths, or the denominator 100. So a denominator 100, we would say hundredths. So just like in fractions too, if you have a smaller denominator, you are talking about a bigger piece of the whole. If you have a bigger denominator, you're talking about a smaller piece of the whole. So when we're saying fractions, we say them properly as whatever number is in, the whole place value. So here we're going to say 0. The decimal, we call it and then something tenths, or 0 and something hundredths. So let's do some examples. So let's start with 3/10, this fraction. If we're going to write it as a decimal, we are talking about a whole that is broken into 10 equal pieces. So I'm not going to do this perfectly, but let's pretend that's 10 equal pieces, and we have 3 of them. So that's going to go here, and we're going to say 0 and 3/10. Notice that we say the place value just like we would that fraction. So let's do another one. If we have that 3 over the hundredths place value, hundredths denominator, we're not talking about a bigger piece. We're talking about a smaller piece. So the same one whole, instead of being broken into 10 pieces, is going to be broken into 100 pieces. And here we only have 3 out of these tiny little 100 pieces. And so we're going to put a 0 in the tens place because we don't have 10 whole pieces out of that 100, and we're going to put a 3 here. And we're going to say this decimal just like we would say this fraction. So 0 and 3/100. All right, let's do one more. Sometimes we have a number like, let's say 75, and the fraction is 75/100. So in this situation, you have one whole broken into 100 pieces, like the denominator says. Pretend this is 100 pieces. And you have 75 out of those pieces. So let's say 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 71, 72, 73, 74, 75. Pretend that's 75 pieces. All right. So in this situation, you have 7 of the tenths pieces and 5 of the hundredths pieces just by themselves. So you're going to read this fraction or this decimal just like you would read this fraction. So 0 and 75/100, just like you would say that fraction.